Anyway, hey, listen, everybody. My name is Chris Sorensen. I'm the Senior Vice President, Director of Retail Production for PRMG, Paramount Residential Mortgage Group. And I have with me Robin Clayton. She's the Director of what we call Performance Marketing. And Andrea Malis, she keeps me on task. I think she has some like fancy title that our CEO gave her. Andrea, thank you for keeping me on task. The reason why we're recording this is because we were having a conversation about a number of different topics. And one of the things that comes up on a regular basis is how do we, and we need to do this often, quite frankly, is how do we actually communicate effectively to those that work for us and those that we hopeful to consider joining us and be part of the PRMG family? How do we communicate effectively our value proposition? And I think that's a problem with any company, but I think especially us. I mean, we are the best kept secret, and without exaggeration, we've been told by our vendor partners, the people that everybody uses, the Barry Habibs, the Dave Savages, the Scott Harrises, the people at the very pinnacle of their careers, Todd Duncans, etc. They've often said to us, man, you guys literally have the best tech stack in the industry. It doesn't mean that other companies aren't great companies, but when it comes to technology and lead aggregation, lead management, I mean, you're the shitsole. And so that's my way of teeing you up to talk about why people stay or go, and maybe some of the stuff that you've done for us so people know how wonderful you actually are.
I tell loan officers when we have recruiting conversations that we're the promised land, because we want folks to be able to do loans, which is why we have over 80 marketing technology tools, which is more than any other mortgage lender I've ever heard of. Because we want you to have what you need to be successful. So that means we've got multiple CRMs and multiple data sources and all of that. But what makes us a little bit different, as you know, is the way we combine it. So we integrate things together in kind of unusual ways. We're asking questions that people aren't. We do a lot of experimentation, a lot of beta testing, a lot of pilots. Anything that's going to help you get more commission checks and more fundings, we're interested in. And if it's not, what's next? So we are constantly trying to evolve. We want to be better than we were the day before. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work to build it this way. But I get excited when I talk to folks that are considering working at PRMG and they're like, wait, you have this, and my old company wouldn't let me do that. And I've been so stressed out and I didn't know even though that was possible. I think it's a blast.
There's a guy named Carlos Alvarez out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He owns Supreme Real Estate. And he and I were just talking yesterday, and one of the things he commented to me as to why he wanted to join forces with PRMG is he said, for years, people come to him, he's a well-known top guy in the area, and people come to him saying, please, mother, may I please be introduced to your real estate agents? I want loans. Can I please have loans? I'm a great loan officer. I've got great this, great that. He said, Chris, you're the first company, an individual come to me and say, let me show you how we help aggregate leads to benefit your real estate professionals and how we manage those leads now and into the future so that we help your agents retain what they've worked so hard to obtain. And I couldn't do that, obviously, as the director if it was not for the investment that our ownership made in you and your talents, obviously holding our CRM and our vendors to account to make sure they got fully integrated with each other so that we can have a holistic solution. I think that's a key difference between us versus fill in the blank. We help aggregate leads and we do it in an extremely cost-efficient manner. And to avoid being on the outside looking in, you've got to get on this train or you're going to be left behind. That's just, the industry is dictating that. I'm going to bring you in, Andrea, just for no other reason than because I think, you speak a lot to, all things having to do with leadership at PRMG. Because again, you and I, when we hold branch managed university, that's a 2.5 day, all day long commitment that we make to our new leaders at PRMG. So we don't have 2.5 days to talk now, but maybe just if I could get you to indulge me, maybe talk a little bit about, from your perspective and Perch, the leadership and how that impacts our team here at PRMG.
When we recruit and when we bring people on, the number one thing that they leave saying that they are the most excited about is our performance marketing tech stack. 100% all day, every day. That's what we hear. Then they join, and then it's a lot. You're transitioning your business, you're trying to get your partners to rejoin you, you're trying to get loans in the door, you're trying to learn new systems. And 30, 60, 90 days later, they really haven't touched a lot of our performance marketing tools. And one of the things that I think is the biggest blessing and curse about what Robin's done for us is when they join, she takes their database and then they go on their merry way and they do all of the things that they need to do to fund loans, to keep the lights on, which is the most important priority. I get it. And then they don't understand that the system, they forget, because it's the first 90 days is like you have a baby, right? You don't remember the 90 days after you have a baby. So they don't even know that the system is working for them behind the scenes just by giving them the database, that it's triggering leads, that it's sending out follow-ups, that it's sending out surveys for the loans that they fund, that it's sending out loan status notifications. And so I think one of the greatest things about our system is that it works for them. And one of the worst things about our system is that it works for them and that they don't necessarily even know that these things are happening without their input. I also know that when people leave or boomerang back, our term boomerang, because we have a lot of people, thankfully, who return back to us after experimenting other places, is the feedback that we're getting is the pricing. I mean, we've had people call Robin and say, can you just get me the pricing that you got me at PRMG at my new company?
No.
I think that's so funny because in this market, the fact that we have we have a competitive price for a system that does the work for you is something that I just don't think we're doing as well of a job as we could explaining that to people. Based on the feedback that we're hearing. I think you and I were on a call the other day and we had a manager who said, it would be great if I got a lead, and then when I got that lead, an email went out and a text went out and a this went out and a reminder went out. We're like, oh my gosh, good news. That is happening.
You've had that for years.
Because it's been so long since they've had to click a button, they forget. And they'll say, why are these leads coming into my inbox? Where are these emails coming from? So we get a lot of that. And so I think when Robin says 80 systems, if I'm an originator, I'm coming in and saying maybe that's too many. Maybe I don't need 80 systems. I have 3 and they work just fine. I think the idea of the 80 systems is we're trying to make them so that they're all fully integrated and automated and they don't have to log into 80 systems, which I think is a huge,
I'm so glad you brought that up, because Robin, whenever you do say that, I start to hyperventilate and start to sweat, because if I'm a loan officer watching this here or outside, when they understand that they can take not just their database, but at no cost to the realtor or to them, ingest realtors' leads, still keep the realtor in charge of those leads. So at a click of a button, the realtor can eliminate the leads out of our system, but we ingest those leads. So for a few cents, they can monitor their best clients, their realtors' best clients, and track their activity to this top producing agent, again, in the state of Louisiana. And she said, I'm interested in change, and I really like the loan officer that you're presenting to me. We do some business together, but I'm tied primarily to this other loan officer, and they have a tool that I don't feel like I could afford to give up. I said, what tool is that? She says, well, he monitors all of our closings, and whenever they run a mortgage credit report, he gets an alert, and he calls me or sends me a text message saying, call this person, they may be shopping for a home loan. That's all he does. And I waited for her to finish because I'm beaming, she couldn't see my face, but I was beaming, just waiting to jump on it. And when she's done, I said, not only do we have that on steroids. Can you kind of talk about that process and how we take care of the realtors better than anybody else out there, period, bar none. Nobody can compete with what we do from a technology perspective for real estate agents.
And I know you and I have done a couple of public webinars open to all the real estate agents in the nation, explaining it. To begin with, they get a free marketing platform. We're able to engineer it. It's actually a gift from the software company. So it's actually not a RESPA thing. We've partnered with a technology company to do that. And then what they can do is they can market their database. So they can load all of their clients. It's completely firewalled off. And then they get to choose if they've got someone who says, hey, I need to get pre-approved. I want to go home shopping this weekend. They can click on one person or multiple and say, I want to send these over to my PRMG loan officer. And then the loan officer sees everything, and they can migrate them to our point of sale system, where it's this really great app that's on your phone where they can, start the loan application process. And it's all synced in between the real estate agent. And then in addition, we're starting a new technology in, I'm hoping, 2 weeks, where we will have even more data points for the real estate agents. So we'll be able to predict, using even different data sources, if they're a move up buyer. So if there's someone who's looking to get a bigger home, if they're looking to downsize, if their FICO score is moving around. So we've got all these different things that we're going to work on having highly targeted marketing that has the real estate agent's face, their website, their brand, their QR code, whatever they want that's on it. So we are driving business back to the real estate agent. They didn't have to lift a finger. Everything that I just explained is fully automated. And that's the amazing part with the loan officers, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to remember all this? I don't want them to. I don't want them to touch the computer. I want them to go out, make relationships, and be an amazing originator. Let PRMG do the technical work and put on our headphones and be in the computer. We're doing all that for you, and that's how I'd like to keep it. And there's a ton of different lead sources that we can plug in that are fully automated. So they're feeding the real estate agent, they're feeding the loan officer, we're marketing, we're converting. I mean, it's just amazing.
So some agents will say, we already have that, or something similar, or yeah, we have systems at one of our big box companies that has something not too dissimilar than that. And my comeback to that is, well, that's fantastic. Don't stop doing that. If that's working for you, keep doing it. This is in addition to, this is marking you even more. But what, Robin, what you just said, and this is something I just want to underscore for the agents that may be watching or loan officers, is we are taking you further up the daisy chain. Right now, when you get an alert because somebody did a mortgage inquiry, that's reactionary. How'd you like to proactively reach out to people? She mentioned one of the D's. In the business, we call them the D's. Deployment, downsizing, death, diapers, divorce. These are all the activities that occur in people's lives that oftentimes in our business can lead to somebody buying, selling, or refinancing. Well, if you can get an alert and be proactive in your communication and reach out to a client, because maybe the algorithms demonstrate that the person was shopping for a wedding dress, and I know that kind of sounds creepy, but that's where AI is going. We see that they're shopping for a wedding dress, so now you have a reason to reach out to them and say, hey, just wanted to check in and see how you're doing.
It's actually better than that.
Oh, good. See?
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
So,
thank you.
And that's one of the funny things. I love it when we do these calls because I'm so busy building.
But wait, I feel like it's the Ginsu knives. But wait, there's more.
I don't even get a chance to tell Chris what we're building. Okay, so not only are we going to get these very precise sort of indicators of what they're doing, we now have an integration. So the marketing collateral that goes out to the consumer will be hyper specific. So it will say things like, you could save $503 on your mortgage payment. You could take out $123,200 out of cash because of the equity in your home. Because we're pulling from the 3 credit bureaus, we have an AVM, we have all these public record information, we're doing a social media, census tract. It is nuts, the data points that are going in here. So the loan officer doesn't even have to think like, what the heck am I going to say to this person? We've already been emailing and texting them this hyper targeted stuff. So by the time the consumer just hits reply on the email, the loan officer will get an email saying, oh, this is fantastic. I can't wait to refi and pay off my credit card debt. Thank you. That's it. And shoot, if you've already got a link in your email signature that says apply now, I can include that. They could even click directly, start the loan application. And the first time you hear that this marketing even occurred is when you have a loan application in your queue.
Wow. See, you're badass. We as a collective, as a company, have worked so hard for so long. I mean, built by Originators for Originators, since I've been with the organization since January 2011, Paul's been my sidekick, all things, retail related, developing a phenomenal platform. And that includes obviously investing in you and your team. So some might say, well, why haven't you grown even larger than you guys are, right? If your tech stack is that phenomenal, and that's why I said we're the best kept secret. Loan officers, far too many, and I'm sorry for going down this trail, so just indulge me for a brief second. You know, when people came from Europe over to America when we were first being formed as a nation, the way that they paid for their passage was to become an indentured servant. And yet, willingly, professionals and even managers are going to inferior companies who, if you ask 10 of their managers, will verify, jerk you around by giving you one price up front and then raising your margins after you join them, because you go, well, how come my pricing is so much worse 3, 4, 5 months after I joined? Well, because you took money from them and you created an indentured servant structure or construct. When you take money from an inferior organization, they know that they can't compete with PRMG. They don't have a Robin or an Andrea or a whole team to help aggregate leads and promote your real estate agents. So what do? They find you at your weakest point and say, hey, we're going to give you money and we're going to give you a clawback that we are going to clobber you over the head financially if you try to leave us in the next year, 2 or 3. And they got smart because some states try to protect the employee. So they got smart and started making it a loan that you can't get out of. And then again, they jerk you around by raising your pricing. And now what are you going to do? You're stuck. Man, make a company have to earn your love and respect every single flipping day. And that's what we do. We don't offer some signing bonus. I don't believe in it, right? Will I help people to transition? Yes. But when you have these type of tools and resources to help you enhance your career, man, live for the line, not for the dot. Go for the longevity and build a legacy with Robin Clayton and her team, as opposed to selling yourself short and saying, well, this is my value proposition. I don't have anything to offer, so I'm just going to take some cash up front and pay off my credit cards. I don't know why you do it, but I think that goes to my point of why sometimes when I'm asked that question, look, we're the 13th largest private, by the numbers, privately held lender in America, 5th largest wholesale lender in America. I mean, we obviously are doing very well, thank you very much. But we could do so much more if loan officers that truly cared about promoting their real estate professionals and not just giving some money to Zillow, if they would actually invest in some of these tools that you have, just time, very little money, but just time, they could generate far superior leads by doing some appropriate Facebook marketing with you than they could ever get by going to Zillow and buying some crappy leads where you get 1 out of 100 calls that ends up turning into a commission check.
You know, they might be thinking again, like, okay, great, but how much is it going to cost me? And branches are absorbing a lot of these costs, that the originators are getting a lot of this at a deeply reduced price, if not free. And then that, you know, again, and that's only for our core systems. So then call it 60 additional platforms. Those are chooser, it's for you choose if you want to use that or not. And we just introduce you to those tools because we are an entrepreneur model. There is not one size fits all for anybody at PRMG. We have like real cultural differences regionally. We have cultural differences within a branch, and then we have cultural differences in terms of how our originators originate. So I do love that they're able to choose from a basket of goodies, but there's like the 5 core components that are largely absorbed by the branch. So if you're an originator listening to this, do not panic. You might be thinking we're charging you somewhere, but we're actually not. We just believe in the return on the investment as a company. And so we invest in it for that reason.
In other companies, will have like a marketing tech fee. To your point, we have an a la carte menu. We want you to have access to a CRM, of course, and that's dirt cheap, but it's one of the best CRMs on the planet. And even the CRM, which at this point is Total Expert, will tell you our Total Expert is the best Total Expert they have out of everybody in America. Nobody has a Total Expert built the way that we do. And that's coming from Total Expert. And a bragging point, Robin, didn't you say that we have by far, almost like double the open rate for some of our journeys that you've created that are automatic journeys for the management and the LOs?
Yeah, we have the highest open rate. So the amount of people that open our emails at PRMG than any other mortgage lender in the country. Our recruiting journey is the most successful journey that exists on the planet. Also, our social media content, we are doing 2 to 3 times that of the top 10 mortgage lenders in the country. So we absolutely dominate when it comes to marketing content creation. And the key thing, it's automated. I don't want anyone sitting there stressing out, what am I going to talk about today? What should I post? What should I write? We've built the whole ecosystem. So you literally just show up. Maybe you get to curate. I might focus on financial planners versus real estate agents, or, there's certain holidays I do or don't celebrate. If you want to get on the weeds on that, we have the technology and the access to do that. But if you just want to set it and forget it model, we're good to go. That's the whole spirit of this, is to fully automate it.
And while that's true, where you really get excited is when you actually get a loan officer who suddenly, for whatever reason, has their own epiphany and goes, I wonder if I actually were to read Robin's emails and actually do what she asked me to do, what would then happen? And you've had some great success stories where you've been able to help people actually garner leads very quickly, quality leads, and close more transactions.
What I'm excited about too, again, as a loan officer, I might not have the money. I might want a marketing assistant, but I might not want to fund that marketing assistant out of my own money. So obviously we have a staff of people employed to support people, but when you want a personal journey just for you, Chris Sorensen, typically somebody will hire a marketing assistant. And we just started our fractional marketing assistant program, Performance Plus, where people can buy into a certain block of hours for a corporate paid and trained marketing assistant. And we've seen a lot of originators who are growing their business, or maybe, just coming off of this market, that aren't ready to invest in a full-time employee or take that risk. And I think that that's been an exciting development that we offered in the last year too, because again, getting a trained person on our systems, to get somebody up and running and training is at least 90 days to 6 months. So the fact that somebody could join, plug and play into our systems, buy a block of 10 hours, and then voila, be totally set up to go with a very personal journey versus, the automated journey that we have as a company, personal social media versus the automated social media we have as a company. I think that that's just a whole, could take things to the next level for the person who wants to do it, but doesn't have the time to do it, or gets, fear and anxiety that just kind of blocks them from taking the first step forward, which I understand that.
You don't have to cover their salary, their matching payroll taxes, their insurance, the accountability of managing somebody, the training, the ongoing training, keeping them up to speed. Robin handles all of that for you at fractional ownership. So you're only paying for the hours that you actually use the person, for goodness sakes. The thought, we literally, we've had virtual assistants, and the industry has had VAs, offshore assistants for some time, but we've just discovered, so if you're watching this, please hear me on this, a team where we actually are talking to not a go-between or a middle person here in the States. We're dealing with the person there physically in the Philippines, educated, no accents. They've got a team of people of 200, and they literally, for under $1,000 a month, loan officers hear this, you want to go in house on an assistant, $500 a month with your agent, give these people a script. They will call 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for under $1,000 a month to call potential listings in your market. Whoever controls the lead controls it all. You want to take additional listings in 2024? We'll help tie you into one of our VAs that will help you actually accomplish that. So, and again, we'll manage the relationship so you don't have to. But Robin, what are some of the numbers? Because when you gave me those numbers over the last 2 years, I was blown away.
If people are using 7 or more tools and actively using, they're logging in, they're paying attention, they're listening to stuff that we're talking about, we have 100% retention. So once people understand what we're doing, they're using it, they don't leave, because there is no better mousetrap that's out there. And if we're not, we build it and we change it and we evolve it.
Perfect. I loved this stat from one of our sophisticated branch managers that uses all of the systems, saying, if we just forget new leads, if we just mined all of our leads from last year, our warm leads, our leads that took applications, maybe we ran credit on them, spent money, maybe we ran automated underwriting on them, spent money, just based on industry pull-through, that could be a pipeline that fuels the entirety of 2024. And that's, focusing on conversion this year of the 2023 pipeline that, maybe they made a switch. They decided they didn't want to move. Something happened at the closing table. There's been so many people walking away from homes, not companies, but homes at the closing table, that if we could go back and mine that data and convert those 2023 clients in 2024, that's just a huge funnel for business for 2024.
Incredible numbers. Yeah, I will tell you. See, this is what I love about this type of setup that we're doing right now, is because we're all feeding on each other, and you remember things that you want to share that if you're typically recruiting somebody, you don't always remember to share. But that's such a powerful number. When we were, everybody was faced with renewed for credit reports, right? Everybody's credit report fees went up in January of this year. And so the pull through becomes all important. And it wasn't just PRMG, the industry suffers from this problem. And I'll just use kind numbers. At best, it was a 15% pull through. That means 8.5 clients out of 10 do not pay you a commission check because of your lack of follow through with that client. That's an industry problem. Now you may say, well, my numbers are way superior. And you can see on the screen that they very well can be. But imagine being able to give you and your team a lift to be able to go from 15% to 30 to 40 to 50% or more with the help of our systems that cost you virtually nothing, without exaggeration, virtually nothing, just by applying these tools. If you're a manager, for example, think about the value that you're bringing to your loan officers that report to you by joining PRMG and taking advantage of what we have to offer. You could literally double or triple your capture of existing clientele. If you are watching this right now and you work for PRMG, I hope we inspired you to take a deeper dive. I always refer back to Pareto, right? We now call this the 80-20 rule today. There's a lot of apathy in sales. Sales is a low barrier of entry, right? You don't need, you need not go to the Sloan School of Business Management over there at MIT to become a loan officer. And yet you can still make $250,000 or more. We want you to be that stat. We want you to be making $250,000 or more, or in our case, as some of our people are, $2, $3, $4 million annually. There's so much that we offer, and yet the apathy of the industry drives me batshit crazy. If you work for me directly or indirectly, please take advantage of Robin and what she's offering you. She's a gift to you from ownership. Take advantage of her. She is a rare talent, and she's worked her backside off so hard, put blood, sweat, and literal tears, I'm sure, into creating these platforms for you and holding our vendors accountable so that you have something that is second to none. And if you're not working for us, look, if it's not us, find a company that is delivering at least some of these things. Your borrowers, because you work too hard to just allow past clients to go work for somebody else. So make sure you have the tools to be able to keep and retain what you worked so hard to obtain. But if you want to take care of your borrowers and your realtor referral partners and the divorce attorneys and financial planners and tax preparers, we have the secret sauce. At least come interview us. Steal our ideas. I don't care. We don't have a scarcity mindset at PRMG. There's enough business to go around. And besides that, I could show everybody the goose that laid the golden egg. And if I'm lucky, 10% will actually follow my directional steps, if I'm lucky. So the greatest competition is you. Get out of your own way. Let Robin take care of you and the rest of our team. And I promise you, we will help you build a legacy that is worth working hard for. Robin, any closing thoughts?
I've worked at a lot of mortgage companies and banks, and PRMG is my forever home. It's the leadership gets it, the culture gets it. Even when they fly folks out to corporate, you just see the whole environment is we work hard, we play hard, and we love what we do. And a lot of those other companies, just like our leadership team, Kevin Perenio and myself, I consider them friends. A lot of marketing leaders. But I will say, they call me and say, how do you do what you do? What's your secret sauce? And I gave it to PRMG, and that's where it's going to stay. So I look forward to having a lot of amazing folks join our team. I love making people wildly successful. I really enjoy partnering with you, Chris. I think you're really smart. You are a fierce advocate of originators. You work way too hard. He's actually only 19 years old. This is just the end.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, we love it. And this, I look forward to doing more of these videos. There's so much more we could talk about. We're just scratching the surface here. So yeah, this was a lot of fun today.
Yeah, and check out, for people who are already with PRMG, Robin's video library of little mini vignettes, less than 2 minutes, training videos, changing it so that we can digest it in bite-sized pieces, I think is going to be a game changer. I think 2024 is going to be awesome. And I think we have a couple more months to get ahead of what's coming for us in a positive way. So we should be setting up all of our systems right now.